All right, what is up, VIP Rockstars? Chaz here. I am super excited. This is our first Rockstars Hangout. I am pumped to be doing this. For those of you that were in the original Rockstars group, which now has almost 40,000 members, which just like, I was watching one of my old Hangouts from early Rockstars phase, and it was the 1,000 mark. We had 1,000 members. I remember being like, that was my 2016 goal. And we made it by the end of February. So I used to host these style of Hangouts every week, and I honestly just missed them. So I wanted to create a more private Rockstars group, which is where VIP was born. So first of all, thank you guys so much for your support in helping us make this thing run. I just want to point out the $10 that you guys are paying each month. I can promise you I'm not going to be buying an island sipping margaritas. I actually wanted to create revenue so I can do giveaways for you guys. I used to do giveaways in the big Rockstars group, and I actually maxed out credit cards doing that because I was paying for everything out of pocket. So I wanted to create something that's going to give you guys more value as VIPs and not just regular Rockstar members. And one of those was the weekly Hangouts. So you guys can expect these moving forward. It's probably going to be every Thursday night. I'm going to put a poll up in the group, see what time frame works best for the majority, and we'll roll forward with that. So for tonight's topic, it's not so much like an open discussion topic. It's two things. One, I wanted to bring you guys a little bit more behind the scenes of our life, share more about my personal journey, and along the topic of developing the mindset of an entrepreneur, because there's a massive difference between just being an employee, a business owner, and an entrepreneur. Massive difference. It's actually a fine line that goes between those two. So with that, at the same time, I'm speaking at a conference on Thursday. No, Friday is my day. So Friday, I'm speaking at a conference at the Midwest Ecom Conference. So this is almost like my practice run through my little spiel. So thank you guys for being ears on this thing. So I just wanted to open up with, how many of you have a job and you're just getting into like Amazon and eBay, selling things part-time to try to replace your income? Okay, awesome. And then for the rest of you, I'm assuming you either do Amazon or eBay full-time, or you don't have a job and you're really trying to dabble into this avenue. So I wanted to bring you behind the scenes and kind of share more about myself, because a lot of people know me from the YouTube videos. The guy who's opening up the bulk pallets and doing the step-by-step shipments, doing the stuff that got me in trouble with a lot of coaches because I was giving it out for free when they were charging $2,500. So that all was at the tail end of our journey. A lot of people don't realize that Amazon and eBay is such a small chunk of the pie that makes up like the Leslie family and all the craziness that we do. So anyone who has met us personally or been up to our house and seen how we work, Mike is one of them. Mike can tell you, like, Amazon is a very small chunk of what we do because we do a lot of other things. So my story starts back in high school. I was an extremely, believe it or not, shy introvert. And also I was only 160 pounds, if you can believe that too. I was a twig. I was the typical kid that I never got necessarily bullied, but I was definitely in and out of all different types of crowds. I never fit with one type of crowd. I was like the floater friend, if you want to call it that. So I'm sure some of you here have been the floater before within the friends groups. So with that, graduated high school, I got right into massage therapy. It was actually my first career choice. I've been doing that for almost 10 years now. So with massage therapy, I went to school. It was an hour commute each way. I went to school for 1 year and I worked up in the same town for 2 years. So that's 3 years total that I was eating fast food. I had gained a bunch of weight, almost 70 pounds. I peaked at 230 pounds. So you can imagine confidence super low, especially as a massage therapist. When I'm like getting winded working on my clients, that's pretty sad. Like that was cardio some days. So I ended up hitting my low point where I just looked at myself in the mirror, and it wasn't even so much like the gut. It wasn't so much the bags under my eyes. It was who I saw, like who I was on the trail to becoming. And this whole time working this massage job that I was at, I was just your standard employee. I showed up, I looked at how many clients I had on the books. I had a boss tell me what time I can take lunch, what time I can go pee, all that fun stuff that we deal with at a job. And I ended up having to go through the rabbit trail of losing weight, getting in shape. I actually quit that job, went to another job at a big fancy 5-star spa. I thought I was on top of the world. I was on top of the massage therapist food chain in the spa industry. So I went from making $12 an hour to $25 an hour. I thought I was on top of the world doing that until I got a few years into it. During this phase, I started to put weight back on that I had previously lost. My stress was through the roof. My wife and I had just gotten married in 2011. This was now 2012 that I got that job. So we got married. We went through the whole grind of like the first year of marriage and the ups and downs and learning how to really kind of communicate and work with each other. For those of you married people know what I'm talking about. We ended up going through that whole phase. At the same time, the stress from my job was weighing on me. And then I had an opportunity pop up. And this was an opportunity in a health and fitness business that kind of opened up my eyes to the fact that I could make money online at the same time I was working my regular job. So all of a sudden, I went from clocking in at 9 o'clock and clocking out at 6 o'clock with my 30-minute commute each way to I would clock in and out, go home, eat dinner, and I would work my business up until midnight. And I made that a grind every single day until I was able to reach the point where July 14th, I just passed my 4-year anniversary. July 14th, I walked out of that damn building as a full-time entrepreneur. I was able to finally have my time freedom. Because during that job, just like most of you with jobs probably go through, being a massage therapist in wine country during the summertime, I was booked solid with 30 to 35 clients a week. Every single weekend, I had Tuesdays off. That was my day off. I missed camping trips. I missed family dinners. I had to miss all of it because I was working. So that is what drove me to eventually quit that job. Now, during the process of quitting that job, July 14th comes around. I'm super pumped. I remember waking up on July 15th. Oh my gosh, I'm so excited. I finally get my time freedom. And then I woke up and went, now what? Anyone else been through that too? I went through the process of learning the fact that this world of self-employment is harder than going to a 9-to-5 job. Because at a 9-to-5 job, as an employee mindset, you clock in, you're told what to do all day, and let's face it, we all do bare minimum work to do what we need to do all day. We do just enough not to get fired, and they pay us just enough not to quit, right? We do that until 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock, whatever. We clock out, we go home, drink a beer, put our feet up, and we're good. That's an employee. Now in the world of entrepreneurship, I spent the first 6 months watching Netflix every freaking day for hours and hours and hours. Meanwhile, my wife, God bless this woman who actually stuck with me throughout my lazy phase, she finally, after 6 months, put her foot down and said, listen, you go back to your job or you finally start building your business like you quit your job to do in the first place. And that was kind of my eye-opening moment where I thought, holy crap, I have been so unbelievably lazy, it's not even funny. Because I was enjoying my time freedom. I got to wake up at 10 o'clock and stay up until 2 in the morning. I was on top of the world. I got to put my feet up, eat Ben & Jerry's every day. Meanwhile, I put 30 pounds on during that phase too. So I gained weight again. So you guys can see this yo-yo effect that's happening, not just in my business, but in my personal life, my health, all of it, personal relationships. Everything was a big yo-yo because I couldn't figure out how to control myself. So I ended up hitting the point where I thought, all right, I'm done with this. I need to take this shit seriously. I need to actually work my business. I need to create an income that's going to help us out because we were writing bare minimum on our income. We were doing just enough to really skip by with like $75 left at the end of the month. And we all know how that feels. And trust me, there were many times that there was 75, but it was in red, which is not a fun number to wake up to. Sometimes it was way more than 75. 700, to be exact, is one specific morning I remember waking up to negative 700. That sucked for a couple months to make that back up. So throughout this phase of learning how to be an entrepreneur, because backing up real quick, my wife, she was never raised with business knowledge. She's never had a business relevant family. I never had a business background. I've never grown up hearing anything about money or business. I just knew that if mom and dad got a paycheck, they went and spent it all and got broke, and then we couldn't do anything fun or eat sometimes until the next paycheck. That's how most of us probably have grown up. So that was my knowledge of money. The word business wasn't even in my vocabulary. So after having to learn the ins and outs of doing all this stuff, I finally got a hold of it, and I realized, you know what? This starts and ends with me. That's it. My business, my life, my relationships, my relationship with my wife, my now son, it starts and ends with me. So I ended up putting my foot down, setting a schedule for myself to follow, which is the hardest thing to do as an entrepreneur, setting a schedule and following it. Your calendar becomes your boss. If your calendar is empty, you're going to do a few things. You're going to try to keep everything up here mentally that you need to do. But even if you know what you need to do, guess what? We're human. Procrastination, laziness, I can do that tomorrow. I can push that off till Monday. All of a sudden, things start to get out of whack. So I created a schedule for myself. I followed it. Fast forward a year down the road, we're looking at 2013, 2014 now. I was a couple years into my entrepreneurship journey. I was running my health and fitness business. I had my own massage clients. I wasn't working for another company. I had my own clients I was working with. So I'm living on top of the world. I finally have my time freedom. I have this great little business that's starting, but I never felt complete. I couldn't figure out what it was. And I had become complacent, definitely became complacent. And I finally, one day, it just clicked. And it clicked at about 7 a.m. because I realized my wife leaves for work every day at 6:45 a.m. And I remember at 7 a.m., I'm like, holy shit. I have been so selfish enjoying my own time freedom. I haven't even realized my wife has been going to her job every day, and she hates it. And that's why I didn't feel that sense of fulfillment, that completion. So my why changed real quick. My original why of why I was doing all this stuff was to quit my job and have my time freedom, which I did. But I still didn't have that actual joy. And I realized that day when she left for work, I remember I kind of laid in bed. I thought, oh my gosh, I need her home. She needs her time freedom. That's my why. So that became my why. Now for the next 2.5, 3 years, I struggled. You guys see the charts where it's like a day in the life of an entrepreneur? And you know those low parts where it's, oh my gosh, I'm going to go bankrupt and this is such a shitty day. I rode that for 2.5 years. And I was stuck. We made the same income for 3 years in a row. There was no growth. We definitely had declines month by month. And finally, again, I had to go through this moment of looking myself in the mirror and thinking, you son of a bitch. It starts and ends with you. It starts and ends with you. This whole time, I'm trying to focus on these other people, these other things, these external things. And I never realized I had put on 30 pounds again. I had become crappy up here. I was in a bad spot mentally, emotionally. Relationships were turning to crap. Tristan and I definitely have our ups and downs throughout these periods. And I realized it comes down to you. You want to have a better business, you have to become better. That's all it comes down to. The stronger you become mentally, the better everything else becomes. I don't know the science behind it. I don't know the psychology behind it. I just know that shit works. So throughout this phase, I'm rocking my health and fitness business. I'm taking clients on. I'm helping them lose weight, get into shape. I'm starting to get into more massage therapy. I eventually reached the point where I went full-time health and fitness. I started cutting down on my massage clients. And then one day I found this little thing called YouTube. And I happened to pair it along with this other little thing called Amazon FBA. I ordered something called a pallet. Pallet comes to my door. I had a small little Facebook group called the FBA Rockstars. And I just said, you know what? I'm going to make an unboxing video of this pallet for my 6 people in my group. Just so they can see it. I can show them what I got. I decided, you know what? I'm just going to publish it on YouTube, and then I'll share the link inside the group. I had no freaking idea that one video would spark 40,000 subscribers a year and a half later. Blew my mind. Once we started Amazon FBA, 3 months into it, Trista put in her notice. She quit her job. We have now been doing this full-time, this world of entrepreneurship, full-time together for a year and a half. I just passed my 4-year mark of quitting my job, which was great. It was fun, but I never had fulfillment within it. And I realized it's because I was being selfish. I wanted to have that freedom, but I didn't realize I wanted us to have that freedom. Especially now that we have a child. Those of you parents will understand this. I could not stand one thing. And this is what drove me so much every single day to get to the point where Trista could quit her job. It's this one thing. Every single day, 6:45 a.m., she had to leave for work. Every single day at about 7:30 a.m., my little boy Titus would wake up and he would only see me. I was a father. That was great bonding time, but Trista always had to miss those little moments. And if you have children, especially during the infant season, the first 2 years, man, those are crucial to have that bond, right? That's when they actually want to snuggle with you and stuff. Once they pass 2, they're out. So that's what drove me. That was my why, is I want her to be able to wake up to her own child. And we did it. One way or another, we did it. But that took extreme drive. And I want to transition to a backstory real quick on the same topic of our boy Titus, who's now 2.5. He's going to be 3 in December. High energy kid, just a blessing in our lives. But it wasn't always that way. We actually reached a point, and here's why I push so hard for people to really decide they want to be an entrepreneur and to grow into those shoes. You can't do what I did in the past. The reason I struggled for so many years was the fact that I wanted to be an entrepreneur. I did not have the work ethic to back it up or the consistency. Once I had the work ethic and consistency, that helped the income. Shocking how those go hand in hand, right? I had the income to match the work that I was putting into it. Going back to our why, I think all of us can agree we want to be building our own businesses for one thing, time freedom, right? Of course, financial freedom that comes with it, but time freedom. We all want time freedom. Here is how time freedom best ever helped us. December 15th, 2014, Trista went into labor 4 weeks early. 4 weeks early. So she had an extreme increase in blood pressure, swelling, all these things kicked in for 2 days. So she ran in, got the test done. Preeclampsia was the diagnosis, and they said, she called me. I was at a little mini conference up here in Oregon. She calls me up. I was probably about 6 p.m. And she says, I'm at the doctor's. They ran the tests. They said I'm not leaving the hospital until baby's out. So I hauled ass, got to the hospital. We spent the next 16-ish hours going through the magnesium. We went through, anyone who's been through this process knows it is not pretty. So went through the magnesium, went through the Pitocin, all that kind of crap that they shove into your body to help get that baby out the safest that we can. Many ups and downs throughout the labor process, but finally Titus was born. And while it should be the most amazing moment in those first like 5 minutes when the baby comes out, they check him, dry him off, wrap him up, give him to you. That should be like the most amazing 5 minutes. We got 10 seconds. 10 seconds, Trista was able to hold him until they said something's wrong. They put him back on the table. He wasn't breathing. So from there, we spent the next 8 hours inside of that hospital, which was a small town hospital. They were not properly equipped for the stuff that needed to be done. So we had to get transitioned over to a bigger hospital. And there was our stay in the NICU. So anyone who has been familiar with NICU experiences, it will be one of the shittiest and darkest times of your life. Absolutely horrible. I would not wish that on my worst enemy. So throughout this NICU, and for those of you who don't know, that's neonatal intensive care unit, intensive care for preemies typically. So he was 4 weeks early. He was 6 pounds. He wasn't super tiny. He was definitely on the small side, but his lungs were not fully, they weren't exchanging oxygen. They were fully developed size-wise where they should be. They just were not breathing on their own. So he needed oxygen support, all that craziness that goes with it. So let me flip my screen around real quick. This is basically what our view was for 2 weeks. 2 weeks, every single day, 24/7. We left that hospital a total of 1 time, and this was over Christmas. We left on Christmas Eve to go to Walmart to pick some stuff up, and that was the longest hour we had ever experienced. So we spent 24/7 for 2 full weeks until he was able to go home. He eventually pulled out. Here's why I share this story. During this time, we did not have to worry about finances at all. Nobody ran a GoFundMe page for us. Nobody donated money to help pay the bills that we were missing out on. We were able to hit pause for 2 full weeks to focus on what life handed us, which was a big deal. We focused on that for 2 weeks. We were there for him every day. We cared for him every day. When we were able to take this boy home, I was able to look at the bank account, slightly freaking out, and realize, holy shit, we've been getting paid the whole time we've been in there. Because I have, for the last 2 years prior to this photo, I had busted my ass to create the income that we were running on autopilot. We did not have to worry about those finances because we had our time freedom. So with that, guys, that is why we build our businesses. It's for your time freedom. Flipping products is fun. I love making the fat sales and doing the screenshots and checking the groups and all that fun stuff. But you know what is more important and a bigger driver in our life? When life throws you a curveball, are you going to be financially ready to take time off if needed? Because if this had happened during the times that I was inconsistent with my business and my life, my personal life, we would have been in a shitstorm of a mess. Bills would have been piled up. We both would have missed 2 weeks of work. All that stuff would have happened. But because I was consistent over time for years, we developed an income that allowed us to take 2 weeks off and be in that NICU 24/7. Here's the shocking part, and it still blows my mind. There were approximately 20 to 30 infants in there at any given time. They weren't private rooms. It was one big open floor space with curtains. That's your privacy. You get curtains. So guess what I get to hear all night long? Other babies screaming and crying. All day long the next day, babies screaming and crying. Here's the shocking part. We saw, on average, parents visit their children inside of that NICU once a week. And I get it. They had jobs to go to. They had bills to pay. I get it. But it was one of the hardest things to really look at when the parents couldn't even be there. That's why we work. It's the time freedom. When life throws you those curveballs, guys, ask yourself this right now. If life threw me a curveball and I had to take a month off, would I be able to do it?
No.
Because if not, you need to really look at your priorities. You need to look at your consistency, your work ethic. Not just that, you need to look at what your priorities are. How hard are you working on your money drivers? What are you wasting time with? We were able to spend those 2 weeks and not even have to think about the finances. Were we rolling in thousands a week and just so well off? No. We were still running on a budget. We still had plenty of debt, but our bills were able to get paid that month. We didn't even have to think about it. So that's my question for you is, if you were thrown a curveball right now, would you be financially ready to handle it? Because that really helps keep you in check with your priorities. So you talk about priorities. That was one situation that we had to go through, right? There was another situation on a personal level that I had to go through. Fast forward to just this last year, October/November 2016, I had been running the FBA Rockstars group. It was growing tremendously. We're over 20,000 members. That's all doing fantastic. We had this thriving YouTube channel that was growing. We were creating revenue streams from those. Everything was on top of the world. That's how it looked on the front anyways. Because if you looked on the back end, I was stressed. I was eating everything in sight. I was not working out. I was not taking care of myself, especially mentally. I was in a bad spot. So fast forward to a Thanksgiving week, Tristan and I fly down. We go to her grandma's house. Her parents came. It was a big family ordeal for the whole week. Everything's great and dandy in the family world. Meanwhile, I was at my breaking point. I felt like shit. Again, it starts and ends with me. Tristan and I's relationship was definitely on the rocks, especially that week. I had many breakdowns. I had one specific morning that she woke up, I woke up, she just knew, like she just flat out asked me like, what's wrong? And I just lost it. Like I was just done faking it for everybody, trying to be happy and nice to everybody when I was not happy on the inside because I was not taking care of me. So here's where I ended up. That picture on the left. That was not a fun spot. That was at that trip. That morning after I had my breakdown, I took that photo. I was in a very bad spot mentally, emotionally, personally, all of it. Because I was so focused on creating the best business and having the best customer service and focusing on everyone else that I kept putting myself on the back burner time and time again. And anyone who has gained weight before and had to lose it, you know how much of a toll that takes on you mentally. More than I ever thought it would. And here's the kicker. I'm a health and fitness coach. And that is what I allowed to happen. That blew my mind. Here I am, and I had clients, believe it or not. I had clients during that time. I had clients that were looking to me as their mentor for guidance, for health and fitness and becoming better mentally. Here I am just preaching the same boring story over and over and over to help them. Meanwhile, I'd be like, hey, you need to go eat clean, you need to go work out, you need to read personal growth material, you need to better this, you need to take care of yourself so you feel good. Hold on, I'm going to go eat this pizza and drink this Coke. That is where I ended up because I was focusing on everyone else. I let the stress of all these external things get the best of me until it festered up to a point where I just broke. I was done. Again, it starts and ends with me. And as you can see in that after photo, I took my shit seriously. I got back on track and I took care of myself. And guess what? I have felt 1,000 times better since then, but here's the better part. When I feel my best, I give my best. When I give my best, shit grows. Our business grew. My relationships got stronger. My relationship with my son and my wife got better because I took care of me as a priority. No matter how, I don't care if you're a $10 million seller right now. I can care less if you sell 10 million a month right now. If you feel like shit, what good is that money doing? And that's a tough pill to swallow because I'd ask myself that same thing. We had some amazing months. Revenue-wise, we had great months. But guess what? I told myself, I would rather make less money but have more time to focus on myself and my family. And we found our sweet spot. We found our balance. And we ride that every single day now. We're not $1 million sellers. I don't have the Lambo. I don't have the fancy house. We still have debt we're paying off. But you know what I have? My time freedom and my balance. I spend time with my wife and my kid every day. We still spend time on our business every day. We have our balance. And my balance looks different than you guys. You each have a different balance in your life. You just need to work to create it. Because every day you wake up, especially for those of you that are self-employed and you're fortunate enough that you've worked your butt off, you don't have to go to a job. For those of you, do you realize how amazing it is you get to wake up every day and design your life? Think about it. You can wake up every single morning and design exactly what your day is going to look like. You don't have to worry about a boss. You don't have to worry about any of that stuff. You get to design what your life looks like. So for those of you that are thinking, okay, great, Chaz, yeah, success story. What are some tangible things I can take away? I'm going to give you 5 things real quick. They are, if you implement them, again, knowledge is only potential power. Knowledge is power if you get your ass up and do it. That's what it should be. 5 things that you can start today that will help you out if you actually do it. And let me point this out. Do it with consistency. Consistency over time. Number 1, read. I don't care if it's audiobook, if it's a physical book, if it's YouTube video. You need to shove your brain full of personal growth. At least 10 minutes a day. Preferably in the morning, because it starts your day off on a great foot. You need to engage yourself with personal growth. Again, that's going to come different for each of you. If you want a great book to start with, you can get this on audio and physical book. I believe it's on YouTube as well. The Compound Effect by Darren Hardy. It talks about the small daily choices that compound effect day after day after day, year after year, into a larger result. If you eat just 100 calories extra every day, doesn't seem like it has much effect until you look at 5-10 years down the road, and all of a sudden you're like, well, shit, how'd these 50 pounds get on me? It's because of the compound effect of your bad choices. If you eat 100 calories less every single day, you're not going to see a whole lot of change. Even though every day, if you're trying to lose weight, you'll do what I do. You look in the morning every single day. Go, damn it, 6-pack's not there yet. Damn it, 6-pack's not there yet. Every single day, right? Guess what? That shit doesn't happen overnight. Compound effect. Small daily actions and choices that compound effect into a larger result. So if you eat 100 calories less day by day, you won't see a difference, but year by year, you'll lose 20, you'll lose 30, you'll lose 50 pounds. Personal growth, guys, need to engage with that. Your mindset literally is putting limits on where you are right now. You are where you are right now, not because of how great your business is. You are where you are in life because of who you are. That's it. You want to grow in business. You want to grow in your personal life. You want to grow in your health. You become better. This becomes better. That comes through engaging with personal growth. And that comes different for each of you. Some of you, it's going to be a spiritual level. So you're reading your Bible every day or whatever it is that you read. Others, it's going to be compound effect, personal development style books, business books, that kind of stuff. Number 2, nutrition and exercise. And I know you're tired of hearing the health stuff, but here's a shocking fact. When you eat healthy foods and you move your body, you feel really good. It generates energy. Activity fuels more activity. Laziness fuels more laziness. You need to select which fuel you are giving yourself each day. I'm not going to go into the tactics and all that kind of stuff about nutrition and exercise. If you need help with that, I am a coach. I do have a VIP group for it. You can let me know. Number 3, this was a game changer. I have actually, it sounds weird, I have actually learned to not even set yearly goals. I haven't. I don't set yearly goals anymore. I don't do the whole like, January is here, let's set my 2017 resolutions. Like, I don't do that anymore. I set month-by-month goals, and those month-by-month goals are set to help me push just a little bit out of my comfort zone. Because here's what happens. If you push a little bit out of your comfort zone month after month after month, you're going to keep growing. You're going to keep getting better. By December, you're going to look back at January and think, holy crap, like, come a long way. That might be in your business. That might be in your health, your personal relationships, whatever types of goals you want. So you guys can see my whiteboard right here. I have 3 different categories. So if you want a tactic to use, get a whiteboard, piece of paper, your desktop background, whatever. 3 categories I set my goals in. And I just bullet point on each one, as you guys can see. Business, personal, and health. Business, personal, and health. You just set different goals for each of those. Are going to help you push just a little bit outside of your comfort zone each month. You're going to keep growing month after month. Number 4, you need to define what your 20% is. This is going to be one of the hardest things for a lot of you to do because it was the hardest thing for me to do. It's called hiring on help. Oh my gosh. But Chaz, you don't understand. I don't have the extra money to hire on people. You need to switch that thing around. You're not spending money on someone. You are freeing up your time to go make more money on the things you make money with. Because every single one of us, including myself, we waste time on crap that we make 0 return on. You need to outsource that stuff to somebody else. I don't care if you hire somebody to do your laundry. Maybe it's hiring a VA to help you out with your Amazon back-end stuff. You can do the returns, the refunds, all that kind of stuff. I don't care if you hire on somebody to go out and source books and inventory for you. Like, you need to get on board with the fact that you will not scale until you start to hire on help. Unless you're some miracle worker and you have some great automated system, that's awesome. Keep rocking it. But for most of us, we need to hire on some sort of help. And what that 20% is, 20% of your income, or I'm sorry, 80% of your income is going to come from 20% of your actions. So instead of doing all of it, you need to define what are the top 20% income generating activities I need to do every day. Is that sourcing product? Because I can promise you one thing, if you want tangible things, one thing, if you're doing full-time RA, OA, you're putting labels on and packaging stuff up yourself, you are not making money by putting labels on boxes and items. You are making money by going and finding more product. Hire on help for 15, 20 bucks an hour to put labels on shit. That is something we've done. It's helped out amazing. Because while they're at the house putting labels on and prepping stuff, I can go find more stuff and make more money. So if I pay, let's say Joe, if I pay Joe $40 for 2 hours to be here and prep everything for me, and I go out and source during those 2 hours and I find $400 worth of stuff, I'll pay him $40 and be happy with it because I just made the extra 360. So you guys see how you need to switch your mindset around with outsourcing? It's not spending money in a sense of waste of like you're losing money. You're just paying $40, $50 to free up your time for a couple hours and you can go find more stuff. So you need to define what your 20% is. What things do you do that generate most of your income? Because that's what you need to do more of. That's how you scale up. In order to do more of that, sometimes you need to hire help and scale up. Last but certainly not least, number 5, this is the one most people are going to hate me for. Create a freaking schedule and follow it. Creating a schedule does not mean you have to have this detailed, like 1 p.m. I'm doing this, 1:30 I'm doing this, 2 o'clock I'm doing this. It doesn't have to be a step-by-step schedule. But you need to at least, bare minimum, work from a to-do list each day. So the night before, if you want to do it Sunday nights for the whole week, whatever it is, make a scheduled to-do list every single day. And here's what number 1 on your to-do list should be. Do my freaking to-do list. I've written many lists in my entrepreneur journey where I'm like, hey, I'm going to do all these things today. And I write them out. And then at the end of the day, I'm like, and I didn't do one single item that was on this list today. I wasted a ton of time. There is a massive difference, my friends, between being productive versus being busy. You can spend 12 hours being busy and not get a damn thing done. Be productive. Here's the cool part. When you learn to be more productive, you spend less amount of time doing those activities. Anyone who knows me knows that I love to get my online work done. So my YouTube channel, Facebook groups, all that kind of stuff. I get my best work done at coffee shops. Why? Because it gets me out of my environment. It takes all my distractions away. I'm not focusing on the laundry pile that's to my right now. I'm not focusing on the boxes I have to deliver that are on my left. I'm not focusing on that stuff. When I'm in a coffee shop, I am zoned in. I kid you not. I get more done in 2 hours at a coffee shop than I would in 8 hours here at the house. That's just honest truth. Because I'm focused and I'm productive. I'm not wasting time. I'm not scrolling through Facebook. I'm not being like, ooh, this is a cute Instagram picture. I'm not doing any of that crap. I'm being productive versus being busy. Read. Do freaking exercises. I don't care if it's a 10-minute walk each day. Do your yoga. Go to the gym. Do something that moves your body every day because activity fuels more activity. You get energized from it. Nutrition. That's all. Number 2, nutrition, exercise. Set clear monthly goals for yourself. Those targets need to be tangible. You need to be able to reach for those things. Define what your top 20% income producing activities are, and then create a schedule to follow. Some of you, like myself, I do follow a detailed schedule. Like anyone who has ever tried to call me and I don't answer, like I never answer my phone unless it's scheduled. Because I have other things I'm doing. Like I schedule my YouTube videos, I schedule my Facebook group posts, I schedule everything. That's how I best run my life. So for some of you, it's just a basic to-do list, and that's okay. You need to find what works best for you. So those are your 5 takeaways that are tangible. You can do them today, and it will help you scale your business. Aside from that, any questions? Open Q&A. I know we're a couple minutes behind, so we're going to be hopping off here in just a minute. So if you guys have comments, questions, etc., now would be the time to ask. That's my spiel. Awesome. Everyone's all fine and happy.
Yeah, that was great, man. I mean, it kind of hit home. A lot of that hit home, especially when you're telling your story about, like in my case, I see my fiance go to work every day and I wave at her, I say goodbye, and I'm laying in bed. So
it's painful. I get it 100%.
Yeah. So she's been here and she heard it and she's like, is this your story?
She's like, do you take your notes?
Right here.
Especially with Mimi in the house.
So yeah. So yeah, man, I took I mean, and then we started laughing when you came to like the schedule and the calendar. Every time I talk to you, I write that down and 7 days. So
Yeah, if here's my tip for anyone: if you listen to anything I say and you write the same thing down more than once, you should probably just try doing it the first time.
yeah.
I was gonna say that to him when you got off.
One of my favorite quotes is, I forgot what it was. I need to find. There's a meme I saw like a year ago. I haven't seen it since. It was if at first you don't succeed, try doing what your coach told you to do the first time. I stuck in my head. I love that thing every single day. Awesome. All right. Well, we're going to hop off. I know a bunch of us are going to be over at the Wholesale Formula webinar. If you are not involved with the Wholesale Formula, they do have a 5-day free workshop they're putting on right now. So if you still want in the group, you can hit me up. I don't think it's too late. You can get plugged in there and catch up on some stuff. But we're going to head on over there. So I'm excited to hear what these guys have to teach us for today. But aside from that, thank you so much, guys. I appreciate you all. Be sure to tune in. I'm going to post up a poll. We can find out what time works best for next week's VIP Hangout. And we will see you guys then. Have a great night. Thanks for listening in.
Thank you.
See ya.
Thank you.
Yeah.